Welcome back to the Every Single Oasis Single series on the Girls Like Rock 2 podcast. My name is Sarah. This is my sister, Katie.
Hello.
This year on the podcast, we are doing a special series. We're going through all Oasis singles, keeping the Oasis vibes alive here on the podcast. We are in Be Here Now. Be Here Now era part 3. Katie.
The final.
Yes, that's right. The final to the 3 big singles from Be Here Now. Katie, what single are we talking about today?
Sarah, today we are talking about All Around the World.
All Around the World.
I think this might be the first Oasis single we cover that Sarah does not like.
Yeah, if you've listened to us before, we are huge Oasis fans, grew up with Oasis. If you're new here, we're massive Oasis fans, grew up with
in our
Oasis.
DNA.
It is
in our blood.
It really is. And we saw them last year when they came to Toronto for their reunion tour. So this is shocking if you've tuned in before, like an Oasis song that Sarah doesn't like. But I will say, not that I totally dislike All Around the World. It is growing on me in my older age, but it's not one of my faves. I'm not a huge fan. Was never like a huge fan of it. There. It's out there.
It's out there, world.
I am not a huge fan of All Around the World.
Sarah's not a huge fan of All Around the World, and her favorite Oasis song is Cloudburst. Let's take a poll. What's more shocking?
You know what? Someone in the comments, I think, once said something like you should change your favorite Oasis song. After going through all the singles and we count down our top 10 favorite Oasis singles, I think I'm going to change my favorite Oasis song.
What?
Well,
no going back.
But Cloudburst, maybe it is a bit. So I'm thinking about it. Like, what should I make it? So
what should I make it?
Yeah.
Okay,
So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Yeah. I will reveal it by the end of this year. It won't be All Around the World, though.
No, you don't think so?
I can say that with certainty,
Won't be All Around
Katie.
the World. Won't be Champagne Supernova.
It won't be Champagne Supernova either. No. No.
Sarah, All Around the World. Just when you think Oasis can't come out with a longer song as a single, I mean duration. Do you know what I mean? Anybody? They did. They beat that.
I can't believe Oasis. Like, this is 1997, 98. Like, Oasis are absolutely massive. They've made it to like the Beatles and Rolling Stones level. Let's be honest, right? And you got to give it to them. They're just like, screw all of you. We're going to make a 9-minute song.
Yeah. Noel said he wanted Be Here Now to be colossal, and he did it.
He did it.
Congratulations,
I will give him
Noel.
that. Yeah.
Be Here Now is a colossal record.
And we are fans of Be Here Now.
Oh, it's my ride or die.
Yeah.
My Oasis ride or die. Be Here Now.
It is.
So Sarah, let's get into some tidbits.
Let's
then.
do it. Yeah, Katie. Give me your
I've
all around
already
the
given you a
world.
little sprinkle.
Convince me of this
Convince
song.
Sarah. All Around the World. All Around the World was released on January 12th, 1998.
Okay,
So
starting
way
new
to
year.
ring in the new year. New
Yeah.
year, new beginnings.
Yeah, that's right.
This song, Sarah, it peaked at number 1 on the UK singles chart.
Yeah, I didn't know that it went to number 1.
Went to
Must
number
have
1.
been huge in
People
the
are
UK.
still loving Oasis at this point.
Yeah.
It became the longest song in duration to reach number 1.
Yeah, good old
Sarah,
Oasis to do that.
The single version of All Around the World is 9 minutes and 38 seconds. This morning, when I got ready to record this episode, I wanted to know, how long does it take to straighten my hair? I now know it takes roughly 9 minutes.
Okay, so listen to All Around the World. And
If you want to get your hair done, it's a great way to do it.
That's good, Katie.
Sarah, this was the last Oasis single to be released on the Creation Records label.
Oh, okay. Then
The
it
end
moves
of an
to
era.
Big Brother.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
Sarah, this is also the last Oasis single to feature Bonehead and Gwigski.
You're right. Yeah.
So this song has a lot of meaning for Oasis fans. It's kind of the end of a certain era.
Definitely the end of that like hardcore huge Oasis era. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's true. Yeah, because the next one doesn't have Bonehead or Gwigsky
Nope.
in the video.
And Standing on the Shoulder of Giants really was a new era for Oasis. We have a new record label, new lineup, new logo.
Oh, I forgot about the logo change.
Yeah. And you could feel it.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know what? Katie, hold the phone. Let's go back to
Yeah.
All Around the World.
Back to All Around the World. We're still in 1998.
Still in 1998. So All Around the World, not shocking. It got generally positive reviews. So considering it got to number 1 on the UK singles chart, that makes sense. So Sarah, in researching All Around the World, I came across this little tidbit that I had no idea until a few days ago. So All Around the World is one of the first songs that Noel Gallagher actually wrote.
I did read that too, which shocked me. I thought his first songs were all from Definitely Maybe.
There are recording sessions featuring this song from as early as 1992.
Oh, actual recordings of
Yep.
it. Oh, wow.
Yep.
I do have something. I got it from this book. It's A Sound So Very Loud. It's about every single Oasis song that Noel had written it in 92.
Yeah. I had no idea.
Well, and I guess, I don't know, this is a bonehead would ask, why don't we play that All Around the World song way back in the day? And Noel would reply, first, it's 11 minutes long, and it's third album gear.
Oh, I didn't read that even.
Yeah.
Oh, funny.
Yeah. I guess he did say, he's like, we're going to, well, I mean, it's, I guess, easy to say that in hindsight, but we're going to get huge, and this is going to be, I want it like an orchestra, and we don't have the money yet for it.
Yeah, that's what I read. He wanted to wait. So you might ask, why didn't he release on Definitely Maybe or What's the Story Morning Glory? He wanted to wait until they had the proper funds for production, extravagance. He wanted the orchestra. It is a 9-minute long song, so it requires a lot.
It is. It must have cost a lot to record.
It must have cost a lot to record.
It does suit the vibe of Be Here Now, though.
It suits the vibe of Be Here Now. And I was also surprised to read that Noel Gallagher said he thinks it's one of the best songs he's ever written.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I just thought that was funny because I thought of you, like a diehard Oasis fan. And I thought, wow, she doesn't even like it. And Noel's like, this is one of the best songs I've ever written.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't know he said that.
Apparently. If anyone thinks that's not true, please let me know. Maybe I got it wrong.
I read something kind of contradictory.
Okay. What
So-
did you read then?
So that comment about Boneheads, like, why don't we play?
Yeah.
So apparently years later, Noel said, it sounded great at the time, but it doesn't sound too clever now. Pigs won't fly, never say die, F me. Why didn't someone stop me?
So I don't know when he thought it was one of the best songs he's ever written, right? So maybe he thought in 97. It's funny, I actually...
Yeah, and I don't know when he said this.
I recently came across Champagne Supernova that celebrated its anniversary.
Oh, yes, it did.
And
yeah.
that was never actually an Oasis single, so we didn't do an episode on Champagne Supernova.
No, like a promotional. It did have a video.
It did. But it's funny because Noel, there's some sort of line from Noel where he's like, I still don't really know what it means, like slowly walking down the hall faster than a cannonball. So it's funny how these artists write these songs and they're like, I didn't even really know what it meant. It just sounded good together.
Totally.
Backing vocals of this song were provided by Noel and Liam's then wives, Meg Matthews and Patsy Kensit.
Oh, that's right. They were married at the time.
So they provided backing vocals. And also Richard Ashcroft of Verve.
Oh, really?
But there's different thoughts on whether the cut that made the album actually did feature Richard Ashcroft. But at some point there is an All Around the World with Richard Ashcroft as the backing vocals.
I never thought that there's female voices in it.
No, me neither.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, but I read that on more than one website that it's them. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Kind of a way back playback when they were married to those two.
Yeah, really.
It was suggested to Oasis to take legal action against a pop band called Hearsay
Okay.
because their first single, Pure and Simple,
I know that song.
apparently it's very similar to All Around the World.
Oh, I'd have to listen to it again. That's been years since I've listened to that.
But I thought it was funny. Noel simply laughed at the hypocrisy of such an act because he was so famous for borrowing from other artists.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was funny how...
He's like, I can't do it.
Because we talked about, there was quite a few songs in the Definitely Maybe era where he's accused of ripping off people. So I just thought it's funny when someone comes to him and says, hey, this band's really ripping you off. He's like, ugh. kind of let them, you know. Who am I to judge?
Yeah.
So this kind of, Sarah, goes into kind of another sort of topic to discuss, but also wrapped into all around the world. I came across this article from March 13th, 2025, so not that long ago.
Okay.
It's from a website called American Songwriter, and this article was written by a man named Tom Donovan. And what was really interesting about this article is it talks about how Britpop was kind of the anti-grunge movement, which you've probably read that before.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yep.
Because Britpop and grunge is interesting because they're quite different in terms of the musical sound.
Yes.
But we've also talked about Blur, even Oasis. Blur's a little bit more, dare I say, kind of not a negative tone, but kind of a harsher look on the life. Modern life is rubbish.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Oasis is, in my opinion, a little bit more hopeful.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
But this article was interesting because it talked about how Oasis was anti-grunge and Live Forever was kind of an anti-grunge song.
Yeah.
And this Donovan, the writer, he said that All Around the World fits the broad escapism of earlier Oasis songs like Wonderwall, Champagne Supernova, Don't Look Back in Anger. He just kind of explained, you know, the hopefulness of like, what does All Around the World say? Please don't cry. I never said die. All around the world, you know, it's going to be okay.
Right. Yeah. And he says that quite a bit
Yeah.
in the song. Yeah.
And so, yeah, he went into how Britpop emerged, he said, as a reaction against the despair of American grunge. And what I thought was just interesting is how he says All Around the World, this actually echoes the peace and love sentiments of the 1960s.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's often been looked at as kind of like their Hey Jude.
Yeah.
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 And I liked how he said that it's that optimism.
Yeah,
of
no,
Oasis's earlier work.
definitely. Yeah, for sure.
But
It
then
is
he-
optimistic. Yeah.
But then he also mentions too that All Around the World is kind of the peak of the Oasis fame.
It's the peak of the Oasis fame, and arguably, I've read different things, but it's like just nearing the kind of, I don't want to say downfall, but the ending of Britpop.
Yeah.
Kind of, right? Like,
Well,
this is...
So then in this article, he says that because
okay.
he mentions how the Verve released urban hymns.
Yeah, that's looked at as,
Within it was within weeks of Be Here Now, wasn't it? Or
they were
or
released
within-
around the same time. Yeah, 97.
Yeah. So he said that you can either look at the Verve urban hymns as the last great Britpop anthem, or as the first great post Britpop one, and that All Around the World is kind of the last great Britpop anthem.
Yeah, I mean, Parachutes will come out in 99, which
Yeah.
totally changes the flavor of British guitar rock music.
Yeah.
Right? That was one of the big ones.
Yeah.
I'm saying this, I was way too young when Britpop was out, and I'm Canadian, but I still class urban hymns in kind of the Britpop, but turning point with Be Here Now in 97. And remember, OK Computer comes out in 97 as well. And Blur's debut. So all of these Britpop bands kind of moving forward.
Yeah.
Even Charlatans, Us and Us and Only, that comes out in, I think, 98.
97, 98 was a really interesting time for music because all of the great Britpop bands, as you mentioned, all those great Britpop bands, even grunge bands, Smashing Pumpkins, they came out with The Door in 98. So soon after, All Around the World was released as a single. Garbage version 2.0.
Yeah.
That was, I believe, was that 98, 97? I think that was 98.
Well, this is arguably just the ending of like this really amazing 90s rock era.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Not to say there's some great albums that came out in the early 2000s.
There are.
I loved that indie guitar rock scene of the Strokes and all that. And that's to come in a couple of years. But for these bands and just for, I guess, rock music being in the charts and on the radio and on MTV, Much Music.
Yeah.
This was kind of, we're nearing the end of that.
Yeah, I just thought researching all around the world and thinking about it, listening to it in preparation for this episode, it really got me reflective, Sarah, because I'm like, this was an interesting time for Oasis themselves, as we mentioned. End of an era, end of Bonehead, end of Wixky,
right.
and end of their real mainstream height, and just a shift in music.
It is a shift in music because rock was just so big for those few years, and you got to give it, like Nirvana and Pearl Jam in the States, and then you had, like you said, Oasis, Blur, Suede, all of that. I mean, they really changed the musical landscape.
Oh yeah,
and like what a rock band could do.
Yeah,
I think. I mean, I know Britpop, like Oasis, especially Blur and Suede too, go back to the 60s.
Yeah,
and that was an amazing time. But and maybe I'm saying this due to my age, they created their own vibes and flavors. I think they really did. It's so amazing what rock music became in the 90s.
It is amazing.
All of these amazing bands that we talk about.
And I'm biased. I love Be Here Now. I like All Around the World. I've always enjoyed this song. Is it long? Yes, but it's an experience, as is the whole Be Here Now album.
I will give you that. It is an experience.
Yeah.
They did create an experience with All Around the World, for sure.
So I think it I think it was kind of a nice send-off to the 90s Britpop Oasis era all around the world.
It is a good send-off. You're right.
Yeah.
It is. It is kind of one of the final send-offs.
It is.
Yeah.
And this is it's just kind of funny. So this is the second song next to Shaker Maker that did not make the reunion list.
No, it did not.
Did not.
No.
So we can't really comment on the magical feeling of listening to this song live at the reunion show.
I will say, if they played All Around the World in the reunion, I think it would have worked. People know it.
I think it would have been cool.
Yeah.
Singing Na 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 at the end all together.
We've talked about how great the visuals are.
Yeah.
They could have taken hints of the music video into the visuals.
Yeah.
That could have worked.
Really cool.
That would have worked really well. Yeah.
Yeah. So womp womp didn't make the reunion set list.
Sorry, Katie. You'd have preferred All Around the World opposed to Champagne Supernova? Like if you could choose between the two to end?
That's a very controversial statement, but I do think it would have been really cool to end with All Around the World.
Yeah.
And all of us diehard Be Here Now fans would have been like, yeah. And like the fireworks at the end.
Yeah, that could have worked with All Around the World.
Oh, what they should have done is they should have teased us. They should have started with that slow Champagne Supernova start, but then gone into All Around the World.
That would have been a tease though, Katie.
And they should have ended it with the reprise and then the slamming of the car door as someone walks away.
Yeah, the reprise would have been cool at the end. Oh,
Yeah.
they should have done that. Do Champagne Supernova, but at
then
the
end with the orchestra.
with that reprise.
that would have been really cool.
That would have been really cool with
Yeah.
the fireworks. Yeah, yeah.
This song just made the cut for the top 40 Oasis songs by Rolling Stone in 2024.
So it does.
It
get in
made
there,
number
eh?
40. So there are other fans of All Around the World out there.
There you go, Katie.
Yeah. The EP.
Yes.
This is the first EP so far, starting with Supersonic to now, Sarah, where I don't really vividly remember these songs.
I listened to it this weekend for today's episode, and
What are your thoughts?
I'll admit,
have the songs here.
Is it Flashbacks? Is the first one?
I'm like, I don't remember this song at all.
I do remember it,
you?
but I haven't listened to it in forever. I did remember that one. The second one, and what's that one?
The Fame.
The Fame. The Fame is the one I remember. Yes, and that's a good one. The Fame. It's classic Oasis.
The Fame is good. Classic Oasis. So we have All Around the World, number 1, running at 9 minutes and 21 seconds, according to this EP. Then we have The Fame. That has 1 million plays on YouTube Music. So people do like The Fame.
Somebody likes it. Yeah.
It's not bad. Is it my favorite Oasis B-side? No.
Yeah. No.
Flashbacks? I don't remember. That's the third on the EP. I don't remember that song at all.
Flashbacks, right at the beginning, Noel just starts singing. And I remember I always never really listened to it, never gave it a chance. So I'm like, I'm going to listen to it a couple of times this weekend. And it really grows on you.
It grows on you.
It really grows on you. And
I find The Fame too, Sarah. The Fame took time to grow on me. I wasn't right away like, oh, this is awesome.
They're growers for sure. But the the flashbacks one, it reminds me of, and we're talking about these late 90s. You know, have you heard the term Noel Rock?
No.
Where I guess when Oasis was huge and he'd go out with his acoustic guitar, other bands, and there were other like
Trying to be him.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I remember hearing the term like years ago, and then Litter on the Breeze podcast was talking about the 90s, and he mentioned it again, and I'm like, oh, I forgot about that term.
I forgot. Sorry, I never knew that one.
Yeah, and I think it's used in more of like a negative kind of sentiment where it's like, oh, here we go again, another guy with his guitar that wants to be like Noel Gallagher.
Dead horse, yeah.
I would have been all over Noel Rock.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, this song just reminds me of that.
T-shirt, bring back Noel Rock.
I mean, you know, the music that I listen to and just the type of person I am, I'm like, I would have been all into that. But yeah, it just reminded me of that. And I think of, because there's different types of Noel. So Going Nowhere, we had Enchanting Noel. This reminds me of kind of dreamy Noel. I'm like, he's a bit dreamy here. Yeah. So it reminds me of the Noel Rock. Anyway.
But no, I was going to say,
but you got to give it to Noel. He did start Noel Rock.
Was it Noel Gallagher that... No, maybe... No, never mind. I thought it was Tom York who said Noel Gallagher could fart in a bag and I'd buy it, but I think someone said that about Tom York.
Someone said that about Tom York, yeah.
Okay. And then number 4, Street Fighting Man, a cover.
Well, this was kind of... I read somewhere that I guess... so we're taught... This is the height of Oasis, right? Yeah. They're everywhere. Liam or Noel, they sneeze and it's in the news, right? The 97, 98 Oasis time. So I guess, of course, the Beatles and the Rolling Stones are asked about, what do you think about Oasis?
Yes.
And they didn't say amazing things.
I read that the Beatles, Paul McCartney and George Harrison did not say nice things about them at all, which sucks for Oasis.
Can you imagine?
We love you, and your idols are like...
Well, they say, like, don't meet your heroes. But I do like the Beatles a lot. I'm a huge fan of Paul McCartney, I'll be honest. George Harrison, too. But I was just like... Man, you have these guys who are huge, who clearly really respect you and your music. Like, you could have said something a bit nicer. But again, Liam and Noel have said things where maybe it does turn you off. Like, they did say things in the 90s, right? But anyways, the Stones didn't say great things either.
Okay, I didn't read that part.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what, but Keith Richards was just like, oh yeah, like just kind of slagged them off. And so I guess Oasis, as a little bit of like a screw you to the Stones, do this cover.
Oh, that's funny.
I don't know. I don't remember this cover at all.
Me neither.
And
it was not played in our house.
No. But it's really well done.
Yeah.
I like it. I was like, they did a great job.
So they're kind of like, screw you, Stones. We're going to use one of your songs and make it sound better.
Yeah. Ooh,
yeah.
No, but I was like, this is really good.
But I was just surprised because I'm like, we've gone through how many singles now, Sarah? Like at least 10, 12?
Oh, gosh, yeah.
And yeah, this was the first EP where I'm like, man, I don't really know these songs well. Like, I couldn't sing you The Fame right now. Whereas Going Nowhere, Talk Tonight, I could sing you all those lyrics, Round Our Way.
Yeah.
And at this point, too, I'm not knocking these songs. Are they my favorite Oasis B-sides? No, they're not at all.
Yeah.
But I'm like, Noel Gallagher's probably tired. He's like, I just gave you guys 3 solid albums in 3 years, and one of them has 2 singles over 7 minutes long. Like, I'm tired. And
hence the cover, maybe, I don't know. Of the Stones, and Stand By Me has amazing B-sides.
It does.
So
it does. Do you know what I mean too? I really like their Angel Child.
Oh yeah, and Stay Young too.
Stay Young. So do you know what I mean? So the last 2 singles from Be Here Now had, in our opinions, some of their best B-sides ever. Yes. Obviously, in other people's opinions, too. Some of them made Master Plan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I think at this point, Noel's probably tired. Like, the guy needs a break.
Yeah.
Oh, not just Noel, the whole band, but as the songwriter, there's a lot of pressure. And I've often talked about that with with Pearl Jam, with Eddie Vedder, where after No Code, he says to his band, like, listen, I can't keep writing all this music here. Like, this is a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. You need some time because music, well, it's an artistic form. So you need some time to reflect and maybe step away a little bit. So that's a really good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The music video. Boop, 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 doo. So Sarah and I got cable. If you haven't followed along with our series, our family got cable actually right around the time of this release.
Oh, yeah?
January 98.
Okay.
So that's why this is the first Oasis single I remember seeing all the time on Much Music. Because Much Music
were Oasis fans. Yeah.
Yeah, Much Music played all around the world a lot.
Yeah. And I did look it up because, as it's noted, All Around the World wasn't my favorite, but it was played all the time. But it did on the Canadian singles charts get to 20, which is pretty good.
Pretty good.
So I guess that was why it was played all the time. This music video was on all the time.
Is that why you don't like it?
Maybe it just went on forever. Having said that, I did watch it this weekend. Haven't watched All Around the World music video in like 2 decades.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I remember them in the suits.
And it is a very well done music video.
It's clearly an homage to Yellow Submarine.
Yeah, they're in like a yellow, like a spaceship kind of. Yeah. But it's good. It's a good video.
It is good. And you know why, Sarah? It's because this video was directed by Jonathan Dayton and Valerie Ferris. And they are the directors of one of my favorite music videos, Tonight Tonight by the Smashing Pumpkins. Yeah.
Oh,
so this duo,
see that.
They did Tonight Tonight. They did Smashing Pumpkins 1979. They did RHCP Other Side, another iconic 90s music video, and they executive produced Pumpkins 33. That's an amazing music video.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's very cool. Okay.
And this video, so in my opinion, amazing music video directors. And it took 24 computer animators and 6 months to make. So it is a good music video.
It is.
A lot of work.
And you have to think, in 98, like, this was very well done.
Yeah.
And we talked about this at some point. 98, this is the absolute height of music videos.
Yes.
Right? This is when, as kids, you got home from school, you put on MTV or Much Music if you were in Canada, and you watched the music videos.
And this is how, as a band, like, there was no YouTube, there's no TikTok. This is how you put yourself out there. It was your music video.
It was your social media. The music video was just so important.
Unless you're Pearl Jam, that you don't come out with music videos.
Yeah, Pearl Jam, they could,
But
Oasis did the complete opposite of Pearl Jam. They're like, here we go with a 9-minute video.
Yeah.
We're in it a lot. And here's all
what's interesting about Oasis and music videos, Sarah, is they have a few songs that weren't actually singles, but yet they still came out with these promotional music videos.
Yeah, I don't know if
Champagne
some of those
Supernova, Don't Go Away.
Don't Go Away had a music video. Yep. Yeah, but it wasn't like an official. Actually, Don't Go Away was.
Oh, Japan?
In Japan.
Yeah.
Okay. But you're right.
The Champagne Supernova, that wasn't technically a music video release. I don't know.
I mean, it wasn't a single, I don't think, but it became, has a real following. Yeah. No, you're right. Morning Glory has a video.
That's right. Yeah. So a lot of Oasis must have liked doing music videos. They came out with a lot.
And just
whatever.
And like we said, Katie, in the 90s, this was your social media. This was it, right? If you really want to like show yourself and what you're all about, you put out a music video.
Yeah.
But All Around the World is a well done music video. And after not watching it for like 20 years, just like the scene where like the flower opens up and Noel's in it and he's playing, I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then like Liam's hanging from the ladder
with the megaphone,
and then they look at each other and he like smiles at Noel.
And the megaphone, is it like a little bit of a flashback to Wonderwall?
Oh yeah,
the megaphone in that video too.
I do think it's super, I don't know, I don't want to say cute, but I like that they're all in the same suits.
Oh, I think it's adorable.
Yeah.
I love it.
And like the white, I'm like, oh,
I love it.
They look so good. Yeah, that was cool.
Kind of a nice send off for Gwixky and Bonehead.
Yeah. A nice video to be in.
Yeah.
For their final one. Yeah.
So Sarah, do you I know personal connections time. We've discussed in detail how you did not like the song. You said it's grown on you. Do you have any personal connections that you want to share with you and All Around the World?
I mean, just it's shocking, I know, but one of the few Oasis songs I'm not really that into. I just never really. But in my older age, listening to it is a very well done song.
I like it.
The melody, the guitar at the beginning, and I didn't know until researching for today's episode that Noel wrote this so long ago.
That was such a shock to me.
And it's just so incredible where I don't know, Oasis, they're such a phenomenon. Like, it's 92, they're nobodies, whatever. He's like a roadie for that.
In Spiral Carpets.
In Spiral Carpets way back. And he's envisioning this colossal song years later where he's like, yeah, our band's going to do this. And Liam does a very good job. He sings All Around the World really well. So that connection, I was like, this is pretty... I don't know. It's just so crazy to think that he wrote this so before. I didn't know that he wrote it so early on. And he's like, yeah, this is going to be for the third album. And wow, Noel, you did it. Like, like that's just crazy.
Yeah. I don't have, in terms of connection, I've gone into detail. Our last Every Single Oasis Single episode, I got into detail with Stand By Me. Yeah. Some might say, I mean, that was probably our longest duration episode on a song. A lot of personal connections to these songs. I don't really have a nice, heartwarming story of All Around the World, but it is nostalgia for me that it was kind of the, like we said, the send-off for the the Oasis 90s era.
It is, and that's kind of cool
special
too.
to me. That alone is a special little thing to have for Oasis.
And you mentioned this again. Not knowing this, I didn't realize this went to number 1 in the UK, and the longest song to be number 1,
longest song in duration. Yeah, you did it. Nobody stopped you, Oasis. Nobody stopped you.
No one stopped. They did it, and they got to number 1. Like, I don't know.
And I liked the song era. I liked the new 2000s Oasis era. I do think it's a very, very underrated era of Oasis.
It is.
But the 90s era of Oasis was a special time. So having this as like the send-off, the last single, I think there's something to be cherished about that.
Yeah, this is our final single, Katie, from the 90s.
Yep.
And the final one, of course, from Be Here Now. We've said it before. I'm going to say it again. I don't know why Be Here Now gets crapped on so much. I really don't. I mean, it's a good album.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I think
maybe it's just they were so big at this point.
I think they were when you're that big, the scalers are going to tip and people just aren't going to like you anymore. You're just so big. You get to that you start off small, then you get to the midpoint where like anything you do is praised, and then people just, you get so big, people just, I've said it before, Taylor Swift, right?
Yeah.
People just hate you.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember Be Here Now, we're like totally into Oasis, Be Here Now, I'm loving it. And yeah, I remember going to school, people kind of made fun of me for liking Be Here Now.
Oh yeah, totally.
This was the time when they weren't as...
I remember my good friend, her parents had What's the Story Morning Glory, and she was like, ew, they want to get the new Oasis album. I have it on cassette tape. I think it's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I genuinely really liked Be Here Now. I don't know.
I did too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
I have read a few comments, Sarah, from some of our listeners. Some people have said also they think Be Here Now is the best Oasis album.
Okay, that's cool. Nice.
But for me, it's not necessarily the best Oasis album, but it's my favorite Oasis album.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. No, it's true. It's true because you have your favorite.
Yeah.
But then you're like, it's not.
Is it underrated? Yes. Totally underrated.
Well, it's just so crazy Be Here Now because at the beginning it's like, oh my God, this is the most amazing album ever. And people are lined up to get it at midnight, in HMV or whatever. And then it flips.
All of a sudden in October, be like, oh, this album is actually terrible.
Yeah.
Like, ugh.
It's so interesting.
Yeah. But you know what?
I don't know.
Sit down, put in your AirPods, listen to Do You Know What I Mean? All the way to the All Around the World reprise. Trust me, it's an experience.
It is.
Grab a couple snacks.
Yeah.
A nice cold Diet Coke. Just sit there and listen to it. And trust me, you'll enjoy it.
Yeah. 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 No. I mean, My Big Mouth, they get right into it after.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And then end off with, other than the reprise, It's Getting Better, Man. Oh,
that is such a good song.
it is
It's
getting better, man. It's funny. Somebody also, I forget. Oh my goodness, I've been reading so much Oasis stuff lately. Somebody or critic wrote how "Girl in the Dirty Shirt" is one of the most underrated Oasis songs ever, and I don't disagree.
Yeah,
that is such a good song.
That is a good song. I think I know.
That's a classic.
Oh my gosh, that's good.
Actually, you know what, Sarah? That was also included as a very underrated Oasis song.
Yeah, it is. It is. I just don't understand why Be Here Now gets the flack it gets. It's good. But.
Yeah. Well, there you have it, guys. This is the end of the Be Here Now era.
Yeah.
So we're going to, like the end of the All Around the World video where Liam doesn't he wave and like sing into his microphone? Or megaphone.
He kind of smiles at the camera. Yeah.
This is our end of a Be Here Now, end of a 90s era.
It is the end of an era in a lot of ways for the genre and like that Oasis sit-in and for Oasis as a band, for music, like we said. Yeah.
I have to say, Sarah, and I hope you listeners are feeling the way that I'm feeling as you're listening to our episodes. It's been so interesting and fulfilling as an Oasis fan to just go through every single single.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying this journey.
It is, and you just feel, you just listening to the songs now and researching, you feel the eras of Oasis.
Yeah, you really do.
You feel the excitement of Definitely Maybe. You feel the what would I say, like the confidence of Morning Glory, where Noel's like, I did it, guys. I came out with a just as good second album.
Yep.
And then you hear, as Noel says, to take Noel Gallagher's own words, the colossal feeling of Be Here Now. You just feel the eras as you go through every single Oasis single.
You really do. I liked how you described Definitely Maybe is exciting, and then Morning Glory is confident. Be Here Now is just colossal.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, because we discussed that in the production of Morning Glory. You can just feel that the record label had more funds, more confidence in this band.
Yeah. Oh, definitely a bit more polished than the Definitely Maybe. Yeah, for sure.
And then Be Here Now.
Be Here Now. They were just like
2 singles over 7 minutes long.
Yeah.
What?
Here's a crazy amount of money and just go nuts. Right.
And
they did.
Yeah.
They did.
So join us for our next Every Single Oasis Single episode where we enter the new millennium.
Yeah.
New Oasis.
New Oasis. That's right. New era for Oasis.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening. Kate and I really appreciate your time. Let us know your connections and thoughts on All Around the World. And we will see you in the next one.
Bye.